Freddie Rubino here, coming to you live on YouTube. Thank you for subscribing. Let's talk about Memorial Day. Memorial Day is something that it's not. I don't like when people say Happy Memorial Day. What we're doing is we have a little respect today for the fallen soldiers and really anybody who has given their life to making this country great and safe and protecting us. So mostly it's the armed forces, but we also have to remember the first responders, the police, the firemen. We have to remember a lot of that and be a little prayerful. This is like a solemn day, not like let's drink, happy, happy. I don't even get that part of it. So let's say a prayer for the families that are affected. A lot of families on Memorial Day, people who lost loved ones at war and stuff. You don't understand. Some of these people, they left. They went going to go to war. They left families at home, little babies. Those kids grew up without a father when their father died in action. Okay? So it didn't just end there. That kid grew up and his whole life was affected by the father dying. Then after that, he raised a family, and he raised a family a little different because he wasn't raised with a father. So let's remember the tremendous sacrifice of the families of fallen soldiers. My father was a World War II veteran. He was stationed at Fort Dix in New Jersey. Okay, I always used to tease him. Fort Dix. Oh, watch your mouth. You know, and I was always tell, hey, Dad, how was it there? There was a deli not too far from there. There was an Italian restaurant, a little place. They made the best eggplant. I'm like, Dad, what about the war? See, when Italians talk about the war, my wife's grandfather, he was in Europe. He was freeing people in Europe. I think he was army, Italian. He was the American infantry. He was Italian guy. And he does, oh, we went into France. The bread in France was unbelievable. Unbelievable. This guy saw action. He was fighting the Nazis. He comes back with bread. He comes back talking about bread, okay? So these are the Italians on Memorial Day. But let me be serious for a little while about Italian Americans. Everybody gets to be proud of their own people. Let me just tell my Italian American brothers and sisters about Memorial Day for Italian Americans. When World War II started, a lot of Italian immigrants that were in the United States were treated like shit. Do you understand that? The president passed a law that if you were an Italian American immigrant, an Italian immigrant, it was okay for the law enforcement to come into your house whenever they wanted. No search warrant. Search and seize anything they wanted. It was a terrible time because they figured, because a lot of Italians lived in the slums then. They just came from America. They lived in slums. And they thought that we were a threat. And you know what? The Italian Americans said, I'm proud to be American any way I could help. That was our mindset. Here's another mindset. During World War II, with the Italians not being hired, there was a terrible time. They wouldn't hire any of us. No government job, no trade union. No, they wouldn't let us in. The police had the right to detain us and search and seize anything we could. It was a terrible time. And you know what our response was? Record numbers of Italian Americans lined up in the streets of New York and New Jersey and Chicago and all across the country to enlist in the United States Army. Because we knew that this was our new homeland. We embraced it immediately. We knew there was going to be problems. We're at war with Italy. We understood. And we said, I don't care. We're lining up. There was a record number of Italian Americans signing up And here's a little known fact that you won't hear on Memorial Day about Italians. That during World War II, all the people all the American casualties, the biggest ethnic group of American casualties in World War II were Italian Americans. You know why? Because we all joined the cause. We were there to fight for America. Why don't these new people who come to America see this and say, this is your opportunity to be part of the greatest country ever that ever existed on this planet? Embrace it. Don't worry about this shit. There's certain things that are, of course, there's certain things against you. You don't speak the language. You're not treated as one. But embrace it. Love it. Defend it. This is why everyone is always up in arms when you hear the guy kneeled for the national anthem. The reason why we're upset is because that national anthem is a memorial to all people who have died in wars protecting this country. You're showing disrespect for the people who gave you those rights. So remember, Italian Americans, the biggest casualties in World War II on the American side were Italian Americans, and there's only one reason for that. Because we all en masse in the biggest cities in this country lined up and signed up to take our rifles and to defend America, our new homeland. Freddie Rubino, and plus the food here is unbelievable, huh? You walk into any store, there's mozzarella, there's chicken, there's pasta. I mean, this is paradise. We love food. America is food. Let me tell you something. You go any of these other countries, you can go to Italy and go to a restaurant and eat, it's not as good as Italian American food. Because America makes everything great, and Italians are the greatest. I said it. Freddie Rubino here. Memorial Day, make sure you say a prayer. Make sure these people are on your mind. And if you can, maybe do a little something to the fallen veterans' families. Maybe a little donation, something to help them out, because they are the lifeblood. And let me tell you something. When people say, oh, the generation today, they suck, not like back then. That's not true. You go to any police academy, all those young guys, all those young women signing up to put themselves in harm's way. 19, 20-year-old kids signing up. That's great. See, there's still good people out there. Go to West Point and see these 19-year-old kids. Hoo-ah! They're gung-ho to defend this country. There's still great generations coming up. Be one of them. Freddie Rubino loves you guys. Italian Americans, great, great people. Always remember that. All these other bullshit that you see about it, bullshit, okay? Bullshit.